Um, but it was just an exciting time. So, he made it personal for me. And then as I moved up through the agency, went to chief operations and the deputy administrator, pretty much running the day-to-day stuff. He was it. I was whatever I had to do, we were going to get him. So we built a whole team that did nothing but work with our agents in Mexico City. And the idea was to whatever we got to do to get him. And so he then was incarcerated. It's a funny story. So the attorney general says, look, I want you to go down and meet with the ambassador in Mexico and then meet with the head of the federal police in Mexico. You got to understand, the head of the federal police at that time, that's 100,000 strong coppers.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous, so it's really their backbone. And I met with him because we had developed some information that Chapo was tunneling out of the prison. And this is how stupid they were. He had been in the same cell for over a year on the ground floor. So they were going to get him out. And he had quite a few people that were working in the prison on the payroll, including the warden. So I went down and told the head of the federal police, who have oversight over the prisons, I said, you got to move this guy because they're going to break him out. He basically told me, hey, take it back north, gringo. You don't know what you're talking about. We got it under control. And about 2 weeks later, Chapo rode the motorcycle out the tunnel. And away he went. And of course, the head of the federal police was then fired. And then it took us about 2 years to get him to go. But the way we got him, quite frankly, was the help of the Mexican Marines. And we stopped worrying about him. And that was a decision that I made. We concentrated on everybody around him, much like what they did with Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
So we were on his doctors, his cooks, his girlfriends, his drivers, everything. And we built a pattern of life on him.
Yep.
And eventually he made a couple bonehead moves at the end, moving into Los Mochis, where we caught him. And we saw the house being fortified. We saw everything was coming together over about a 3-month period. And the Mexican Marines were wonderful. They stayed on that surveillance for about 6 months, which is unheard of by them, because normally our counterparts in Mexico, if they start at 8 a.m., by about 10 a.m., they're going home. So these guys really did what they were trained to do. And we were able, one night he showed up with a couple of bodyguards, and the next day we went in and got him. So, and then of course my fight there was with the Department of Justice. I wanted him extradited, and that started a whole battle. But fortunately for us, the Mexicans had been embarrassed nationally twice now. The guy escaped, so they wanted him out.
Yeah.
So the timing was good. But there's a series of things that went on. I think that solidified the agency and also my resolve. One of the things prior to him being caught is we had mounted a raid with the Mexican Marines. We felt from communication interceptions and overflights that we had him on a remote area outside of Sinaloa. So we were we didn't want to helicopter in because they'd hear the choppers. So what we were going to do is drop the Marines and our guys in and let them ascend on foot. Had some ATVs to get up there, and then pre-dawn raid, and hopefully we grab them. Well, we were preparing to do that. And we were everybody was bunkered down in a valley. And as you well know, it's not a safe place to be when everybody, that's got a view on you is out to get you. But we were told to stop. And we were told to stop because Sean Penn and a Mexican actress were up visiting Chapo. And that all of those guys' life were put in jeopardy because of these two idiots. And of course, we eventually hit it the next morning, and he was long gone. And it was all because of them. So that began a fight with the Department of Justice. I wanted her and him indicted for obstruction and all this. It went nowhere.
Yeah. How much of an impact did it have when you guys finally captured him and he was extradited? I mean, did the cartels even skip a beat when the head of the snake is cut off, or do they just replace it?
You know, they do, and they're much like a military organization. There's usually someone standing in the way to step up. If you take the general out, somebody's going to want to
Yeah.
go up there. But what it did to them, and they're still recovering, it splintered a lot of their alliances. Um, Associations began to break down. Communication wasn't as disciplined. So it gave us an opportunity, and the Mexicans an opportunity, both within Mexico and also domestically here within the United States, to really hit some of their organizational cells because they were undisciplined at that point. Everyone was trying to figure out who they would be in alliance with. So we did do some damage now. Sinaloa right now is probably just as strong as it was then. Chapo, his two idiot sons have kind of evolved to try to take it. But the real brains of the operation has always been is Miles Zambada, who to me now should be the number one wanted man in the world. He was Chapo's cohort through the early years. He's in his 70s now. He's got diabetes. He's missing a leg. He's kind of the senior advisor, but he's the one I think that keeps it going. And I also think he's the one that has the most influence with the Mexican government. So I'd like to see him locked up before I die.
Where does Chapo call home these days?
Oh, he's in a beautiful little, well-decorated cell, 23 hours a day in Supermax, Florence, in Florence, Colorado, where he belongs. And in fact, I just got a report not too long ago from some guys. He's now saying it. He's losing his mind, and it's cruel and unusual punishment. I love every second of it. Funny story. So when he gets convicted, he's being held. The trial's in New York. He's get convicted. The judge and the Bureau of Prisons say, "Okay, you're going to Supermax because you're obviously a threat to escape." So they fly him on a Marshall plane to Denver, and then the Denver Field Division of DEA, along with the Marshals, transport. I mean, there's some real security concerns moving this guy. So they transport him to Florence, and the only thing he said to the agents on the way up there, he asked, "How's Jack Riley doing?"
No shit.
Yeah, so the guy still has it out for me. So every day I think where he is and what he's going through, it's a pep in my step to think that we were able to do it.
I mean, consider writing him a lovely Christmas postcard every year, just so you know that, or that he knows that you're still thinking of him also.